Okay, sorry about that, YouTube, but, my dad just knocked at my door and I had to go answer it, and I didn't want to keep the camera on. Okay, I kind of forget where I was, but, yeah. So, as I said, you have a momentary push button, and it's just telling you what you needed. And you can get all this stuff from, Radio Shack and, the source. So, if you're planning on modding a controller, the main things you're gonna need is a 24 gauge wire, intercom wire, definitely the best, roll of solder, finest you can get, and a soldering iron if you don't have one. If you don't know what one looks like, I just showed it a second ago, but here it is. It's right here. Here's mine, right here. Works great. It has a nice fine tip on it, which I also got from Radio Shack. Well, I got it from somewhere else, but, well, it was the source, but same thing, so it's no big deal. So I'll give you a quick layout of my controller right now, how it is. So we have the button here, so I took out one of the rumble pack things, but as I showed you before, it's actually really easy to do. You just pull out that, if I can find one, well, no I can't, but all you have to do is pull it out, and it pulls out really easy. Over here, I still have it hooked up, and it works fine. So instead of having both rumbles, it's just the one rumble. You know what? It's fine. It works. Okay, now, if you want to do a mod so you have rapid fire, do you see that? See the little middle peg there? Probably be easier if I use something to point with. Do you see that middle peg right there? Right there? Yeah, that's what you're going to solder one wire to. It's right there. And it's going to lead to that peg. Now the peg has a little hole in it. One little prongs. And you know what? You don't even need to solder it. You might want to solder it just like to hold it still, so nothing ever happens to it. But you can just, if you get 24 gauge wire, which is the best one to use, you can just wrap it through and just wrap it around, and it works fine. Now the other end, there's a couple places you can put it. You can put it right here. Like you put one end here, and you can run that along. Most people do it right to the LED, but that will only work if it's if you're using it as a first player controller, which I mean 99.9% of you are going to use it as your first player controller. So right there. The best controllers to use, it's not this kind, because you need the best ones to use are the ones with I think it's a resistor here, or transistor, I don't know, I forget, but all the new white controllers don't have them, like this one, but all the new black ones do, so definitely go buy a black one if you're modding a controller. Or you could do it to another power source, which is somewhere here, but you should definitely Google it. That's the best way to do it. So like you can find an in-depth guide. This isn't really an in-depth guide, but it's just kind of showing you a little bit of everything, just how to do it. And if you want to, like say Call of Duty 4, you want to make this the button down here, or there, a reload button, so you don't have to take your thumb off your analog stick. What you can do is run a wire. Actually, we have to be two wires. One. Do you see these little black things? Okay, well, in case you guys don't know, when you press down the button, it pushes down something that connects these two. So one's the ground. So anyways, so when you push down the button, it connects these two, and it indicates it creates a circuit, and it tells your Xbox that you push that button. So you can just find other ways to connect the circuit, right? So instead of using the button, you can put a wire here, which leads to here, and you can put another one here that leads to the other prong, and you have to solder it, which is actually, to be honest, a pain in the ass to do. uh, just because it's hard to solder to this. But I mean, it can be done because I did it on I tried it on another controller and it worked. And so you can pretty much use it for any button. You can even use it for the analog stick, or the not analog stick, but the D-pad, because it works the exact same way. And you can do it for the guide button. I'm not sure if you'd want to, and any other of the buttons, A, whatever. Yeah. So if you want to just not like to use it as a reload, you can use X for Call of Duty games. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. You can use anything, and even if you're left-handed, just so you know, the left trigger is on the other side, but it's in the middle, so it's pretty much like symmetrical, the controller. Pretty sure it is actually, but not completely, but yeah, it's the middle peg for the left trigger. So if you're left-handed and want to mod your controller for rapid fire, that's the way to do it. I'm not sure if anybody else has ever said that, but yeah. So that's pretty much the basis of how you can mod a controller. So look at my other guides if you want to take it apart. If you're apart right now, you might want to look up the guide to put it back together. As I said, I have a video to do that too. And yeah, happy modding, YouTube. Oh, and just so you know, the buttons, most of them have something that screw on, that like you put around, and you just have to make a hole. So what I did was I took my soldering iron when it was hot, and I just pressed it right through the plastic, and then I just took scissors. Probably not the most efficient method. Most people just drill holes, but I was just bored one day, and I scraped around with it with scissors. Probably the worst method ever, but you know what? It worked. So yeah. So check this out and try it yourself. You know what? You got nothing to lose. But you know what? If you break, I mean, I've broken a controller trying to do this. Like, I mean, I can do it now, but the first time I tried, I broke a controller. So, I mean, definitely try if you want to. Like, if you have money to spend on a new controller, you know what? That's your business. If you don't, you know what? I wouldn't try doing it. But you know what, I have like 5 controllers, so I couldn't care less. And if I could buy a new one if I needed to. So it's not a big deal. Um, so if you're just trying to like save money, I've heard another video, if you're just trying to save money, but then from buying a new controller, from buying an actual modded one, pre-modded, you probably won't you shouldn't do it if you don't know if you don't know you don't know anything about this kind of stuff. I mean, if you're experienced though, like in circuit boards and stuff, it's probably the easiest thing to do. So, or even have somebody do it for you. I mean, it's not a big deal. But yeah, so that's pretty much all you need to know about modding controllers. Yeah, so from the prong, and yeah, and you can do it with any button. So this video is getting pretty much too long. So yeah, so happy modding, YouTube.